So it was the High Rocks?
I was like, good, you know, like we loved it more than what we thought we would. Before we were doing it, we were like, this is going to be horrific. And yeah, it was just have fun. Like, I think because we did better than what we thought we would as well, so you get a bit of a buzz, don't you?
Yeah.
Then our next one's in 5 weeks in London, sorry.
Yeah.
And then we've got, so we did this one at open weight, London at open weight in 5 weeks, and then we've got Manchester pro weights in Jan.
Yeah.
Then I think we might retire after that. I don't know though.
Unless you get the bug.
Yeah. Because you don't want to keep doing it if you're not getting faster. But
yeah.
The thing is, like, CrossFit, like, it's not the stations that slow us down, it's the running.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really, like, we're not bad at running, but we don't run. Do you know what I mean?
It's okay, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. Well, on our, on my watch, by the time we finished, we'd done just under 11k.
Yeah.
Because by the time, it's only supposed to be 8k, but by the time you're in the rock zones and you run.
Oh, yeah, you do like all that shit. Them burpees look horrid.
Yeah, that we were quite slow on that. You know, like where you rank.
Yeah.
But you definitely could super speed up that.
Yeah, because you've done your effort. I'm assuming from what I saw is that when you jump in the boxes, you have to go back onto the line.
No, it's nothing to do with it. I think that's just like, say if you step forward, they'd be like, go back to that line. Like, right, you don't have to stay in them.
Yeah. Cool. So. It's alright.
I'm just telling you if you come off the close best.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
No worries. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Cut that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that a bit before, a bit laughing at that's the first time it's ever happened. So
that made me laugh. I was like, I didn't even think about it. Like, that sounds really weird. I was like, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Literally, I never forgot I was going to do it. So after that,
at least you got reminded.
Yeah, I learned hard way. So with this and sort of doing it, I think the best place to start is always the beginning. So like, if you want to maybe go back and how you got to this point, how you got to sort of the person you are today, and what you think.
So, like initially, obviously, when you go through school, I feel like I came out thinking that I wanted to be in the NHS. So I did midwifery first. Came to my children, my undergrad for 3 years. Fucking hated it. Didn't want to. Knew I wasn't going to enjoy it. Like all my mates were like, oh, this is the best thing ever, and it is. But NHS wasn't for me, like shifts and stuff. So I kind of always knew in the back of my mind, I don't want to do this. Worked full time for like a year as a midwife, maybe not. I don't even know. And then I was like, fuck this shit. Literally finished my last night shift on the Friday morning and started my PGC on the Monday here. So I did PGC for a year then, while still working as midwife part-time to get pocket money. And then qualified as a teacher. Worked as a teacher, lived in London for a year. COVID hit, came home. And then did 3 years in a school in Liverpool. And then, but in the meantime, I'd started PTing on the side a little bit because obviously that was like my passion. That's what I enjoy doing. And like, it sounds like cringy, but I suppose the midwifery, the teaching and the PTing, like it's all helping people. Like whether it be kids or adults or whatever. So I feel like I've always wanted to do that side of things. Like I couldn't just sit in an office. I will go insane. Like can't think of anything worse than just sitting at a desk all day. So yeah, and then towards the end of my teaching, it was getting to the stage where I was like working from 6 a.m, doing PTs, going straight to school in Liverpool. So I live in obviously Southport, so it was taking like an hour to get to the school anyway. And then an hour back, and I'd be pegging it back for the clients, and I'd be in work till 9 o'clock at night. And I was like, this is not sustainable. Something needs to give. So I decided to go for the full-time self-employment. But yeah, I feel like everything that I've done, those kind of passed on, like skills from teaching helps with PT. And I'm not saying I'm like a really good PT, but I think like some PTs just do it because it's so easy to get the qualification, isn't it? Like it is. And so many people are PTs now, but I feel like you've got to have that communication and social skills and stuff because like I see some people PTing and like they're just not talking to the client.
Yeah, but on the phone.
Or people who take classes and they're just like scrolling on the phone and stuff. Like you need to get involved and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm a bit of a hyperactive person, so I feel like that plays well as well. But so 29 and 3 careers in, but hopefully this will be the last one.
What was it like to make decisions to step away? Because they're quite definitive decisions.
Yeah, quite scary, but then I feel like I wouldn't say I'm not an impulsive person, but I'm a bit like my head's in the clouds. So I don't kind of think of, and I think obviously the lucky thing was I was living at home. Like I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have kids, like family and all that. Like I didn't have that pressure on me. So I did have that option, whereas I get why, like as I always hear people who are like, you know, in their 40s and they've got a mortgage and 2 kids, like I fucking hate my job. And I'm like, we'll move them, but I suppose it's harder for them. But I still think you're never trapped. But loads of people used to go to me like, oh my God, you're so brave, like making all these jumps. But to me, it was just the next step. Like I wasn't happy. Like I just feel like don't settle in something you're bored and unhappy with. Like what's the point? I think now, especially at our age, like our parents, like you did a career and you stuck at it, didn't you? Like my mum did a pharmacist for years. but we've got like our people our age like tend to jump careers, don't they?
And I think that's something that is almost good about what we do. It's that
more
mindset.
doors open.
Yeah. So you talk about having that sort of, it is bravery. I think it is a brave thing to do what you
I don't really think it obviously it's to people, but I don't know. To me, it was just like, I'm going to do this now. Yeah, because I don't really. Do you know what though? I never used to be an anxious worrier or anything. Like I was always head in the clouds. I still am a little like that. But midwifery made me anxious. I'm
just going to ask that then. Have you always been sort of this, almost like fearless and just happy to take these chances?
Like in school, I was always like, my mum was like, fucking hell, she's on another planet. Like all my parents' evenings were like, she's lovely, but her head's in the fucking clouds. Like she does not listen. Even in A level, I still remember vividly. I was in my biology lesson and I was literally just like looking out the window, and my biology teacher had to shut the window. But that was what I did for my reception kids. But I was like 17 then. Like I'm just I can't concentrate. I struggle. But when I started midwifery, I think that was part of the reason why I stepped out of it. Like night shifts just filled me with anxiety, and I'd literally cry before every shift. Like I hated it. And even as a student, like I'll hold my hand up. We used to do like long days, and I used to like go in the toilet like halfway through the shift and just like, and like cry and come out. But like no one ever saw that side of me. But I think because it was causing me so much anxiety and worry, I was like, I can't go on like this. Like I can't do this forever. It wasn't worth the money at all. Actually, you don't get paid much interest either. But yeah, no. But I feel like now I've and then even teaching. Like I know we all have a few like mentee bees, but but like even teaching, I was still anxious. Whereas now, I feel like I've found my happy place now, and I don't like. Even my mum says you're totally different now. The weight's been lifted, and like my boyfriend Pete sees it and stuff like that. So yeah, and I think like if something's causing you severe anxiety and stress, like when you hear about people in the corporate world and like law and that, and they're having like literal mental breakdowns, like stress and all that, I just think it's not worth it. Like you're being paid a lot, but you don't show up well. Yeah, you don't show up well for yourself, for your family, for your friends, and all that. Like it's not worth it. Whereas now I feel like I'm at a much better headspace. Yeah, it's taken a bit of time and stuff, but yeah.
It does though, doesn't it? I think nothing comes particularly easy when it's something that you want. I know you just said something interesting there about you can get paid all the money in the world, but I think you get to a point where it comes back to work-life balance. I remember I've had jobs like when I was younger, and like for my age, they weren't like mega money, but they were really good for like 21. Like people would be fucking ringing me at shower at 10 o'clock at night, and I'd be like, fuck this.
That's like people with like he's quantity surveyor, I'm sure it might be saying. But like he'll be like replying to emails at like 10:30 at night on his phone, or he'll be getting phone calls at literally like sometimes Troy's on the phone call like 10 to 6 in the morning when he's getting ready for the gym. And I'm like, you can't, that is not like don't reply to them, but he can't help it. And he is stressed with it at the moment. But and like people in like the law like side of things and other corporate jobs, like the longer you work, the more you get paid. So you get paid per hour, don't you, in those kind of jobs. So like you get rewarded for working longer. And I just think that's not like, I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like there's no cut-off time. Like you'll drag out a job as long as you can and not have that work-life balance where you're like, no, it's 6 o'clock, I'm turning my laptop off. Yeah.
So when you did that and, you know, you was going through a tougher time in your life with like the midwifery and the teaching, what was it that kept you on track, if anything, you know, like sort of distilled that anxiety?
Like, the gym. That sounded cliche, so like when I was doing my midwifery, I did a couple of marathons then, so I was doing quite a lot of running then alongside CrossFit. So I was just like, but I was always that person that still prioritised my training. Like, but I didn't sleep well after night shifts anyway, so if I did a night shift, I'd get up at like 2, and then I'd go out on a run at 4, or I'd go to the gym at 4, but it tended to be running when I was doing shift because obviously I'd miss class times, unless I was like on a day off. And yeah, just keeping active and just keeps you mindful, doesn't it? And then when I was like a teacher, like I was that teacher that was like, fuck this, it's 4:30, I'm out the door, I've got a class at 5, whereas other teachers would stay there till like 8 o'clock at night marking books. But I used to think to myself, like, is anyone going to die? If I don't mark these books, no one's going to die. And then you like think tomorrow, like if I do this fucking sticking name labels on a tray now till 8 o'clock at night, is that going to impact how the kids learn tomorrow? No. And I think you've got to, like, that's where loads of people struggle. Like I lived with 2 girls, like one being Nikita and another girl we met down south in London. We were all teachers together. And one of the girls' room was above mine, and like her laminator would be going at like 11:30 at night. And I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, how can you do that? So I think it's always like, I keep saying it, but work-life balance and setting boundaries for yourself. But yeah, the gym and activity and just being healthy and just being active like really helped me, I think, definitely. Because otherwise you just go home and like just wallow and just like, I find if I go home I just sit there and like overthink the day and things and start worrying about stuff. So yeah.
I feel like almost dirty, don't you? Like you go back to like worry, it feels like a layer on you.
Yeah.
Like you just can't quite.
Like a weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And even if I felt bogged down, like there were some days like driving to the gym from school, I'm sure everyone can relate. Like, oh, you've got a headache, you've got a stuffy head, you've been in like artificial lights in an office or a school all day, whatever. But I knew that 5 minutes into that workout would feel so much better. And like I think a common misconception is, you'll agree, like loads of people say, I just haven't got the energy to go to the gym. I just don't feel up to it. But 9 times out of 10, I don't feel up to it. But you know, once you've gone, you come out with more energy than you went in with.
You never regret a workout,
no.
I don't think. Or like I went to the gym this morning and did a cold.
Regretted it.
Do it.
No.
Like fuck it, like you know, it can be, people can say it's wanky and all that sort of shit. But for me, it's just dead sort of. It sets me off. It's the hardest thing I can do.
I want to do that. I've never done it.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
But like it's so that rule of the last guy that I had on the podcast came and he was talking about it, is sort of the way he does it is he wants to do the hardest thing first in the day, then everything else is easy at that point.
Well, yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
And you know, like be at the gym or be something difficult like that, I think it's so important and it just clears you out.
Yeah.
Like, we was doing a program at work about like well-being, and it was sort of a pyramid of like how you prioritize your well-being, and the bottom one being like the foundation. And for me, like physical well-being is just
so important.
Yeah, because without that, nothing else for me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not perfect at it. You know, I am. There's times I'm like, oh, fuck that. I do fall
But
into that
everyone is
habit.
though, aren't they? Like you have those weeks where you like eat like snacks, like over snack every day or whatever, or like you have these weeks out where you eat out loads and stuff like that, or you know, you don't get the gym because of other things. But as long as you, like, again, it sounds like cliche, but literally is being consistent with it, isn't it? Like no week's gonna be perfect, but as long as you consistently show up for yourself, like with even just basic things. That's why I love coaching people with, because loads of people think, oh, I'm going to the gym all the time, but I'm just not seeing any change, or you know, I'm still feeling shit. And I'm like, well, what are you eating? How many steps are you doing a day? Are you getting outside? Like, are you hydrating? So many people don't drink water, and I feel like shit. I'm constantly, I'm on my second bottle of water already today. Like all these simple things. Like people think it's dead overwhelming and impossible to enhance their life, but it's not, is it? It's all the simple things.
And they channel it into the not the wrong thing, but you know, they put all the eggs in the basket of the gym fixing the problems, and like I said, there's such a wide sort of variety of aspects.
The gym's a small bit, really, isn't it?
Probably if you look at like the gym is probably the smallest percent of that, but you know, people just think, oh, I've been going to the gym now every day.
Yeah. Or go on the treadmill 3 times a week. Yeah. Why all night? Why have I got a six pack?
yeah. Or why do I still feel shit?
Yeah.
So there's something you mentioned then about, you know, you're a coach and things like that, but it's always, everyone's got things where they're not consistent. Do you feel there's like pressure to be, like an expectation for you to be almost like always on it? Do you ever feel that? Yeah,
sometimes. And like, I don't know, it depends. Like, so it depends what week it is, I think, and how much pressure you put on yourself in that week. But yeah, and I feel like there's definitely being like a PT or a coach, like in my head, I could be wrong, but it feels an expectation to look a certain way, and like if I have a week where like we all have them, where you have like a low self-esteem week and you just think, oh, like you feel crap and you think, well, I'm being a shit PT, or I can't be, I don't know, do you know what I mean? But then also at the same time, like I like to show the real side of me on Instagram. So like I love an Aperol spritz, so I'll always post going out with the girls, or like, you know, if I'm going out with a family meal and I'll always have a glass of wine, or like, you know, a big bowl of pasta. And, you know, I don't want people to think I'm that person who will just order a chicken salad every time I go out, or like I never eat pizza. Because like loads of people say to me, oh my God, like you eat, like, bet you never eat chocolate, do you? And I'm like, yeah, like every day. Or, you know, oh, I bet you hardly ever drink, do you? I'm like, I don't drink loads compared to some people, but I'll go out and like have a few Aperols or a few gins and stuff. Yeah.
Again, it's that balance.
Yeah. So I think it's important for like, because I hate when you look at like influencers' profiles and they're just all like meat and 2 veg, egg whites, protein drinks, like
electrolytes.
Yeah. I have them when I do a comp, but that's it. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure it does well, but or like greens. Oh my God, I tried to get into greens once, and I felt like I was going to vomit. And when people say like, oh, they taste really nice, I'm like, no, they fucking do. I had these ones that said they taste like pineapple. No, and I even mixed it with my Vimto, and it's still. I spent
that must be a fucking grim colour.
I spent
greens and Vimto.
Yeah, honestly,
like algae.
It looked horrible, and then I was like this drinking it. I spent fucking 80 quid in this pouch.
Yeah,
still in the cupboard. Yes, like when people say greens are nice, they're lying. They're not nice. But like all stuff like that, like that's juice diets. All these bloody fat loss, skinny jobs now, and all stuff like that. Like, I feel like so many people glamorize that side of things rather than the basics.
Yeah.
So I think, I think I digressed there, didn't I? But yeah.
Probably, you're absolutely right when you say there's a lot of quick fixes, and from my I coach, but nothing unlike like the level you do. I do it very very briefly and occasionally, but I always found that people would never understand the fact that they've probably put the bodies through bad habits and bad things for so long, but then they'd expect quick fixes to turn it, when in essence it probably takes double the time to sort of rid that and then get progress from
I always say to people, like, why, like, how long have you done this bad habit for? Not in the first, but you know what I mean? Like, how long have you done? So why do you think a week not doing it is going to fix that lifetime and doing something? Do you know what I mean? But I think also a problem with our generation and just current everyone trying to look at being healthy and enhancing their life. Like, everyone wants that instant gratifications. Like, everyone wants that skinny jab because they lose weight, but you're shitting yourself, you feel sick, you can't eat. And as soon as you stop taking them, you're going to put that weight back on. Like, all these juice detoxes. Like, I hold my hands up, like, I've done all those meal replacement shakes and bars. Like, I remember being sat in school and eating a meal replacement bar, like, what the fuck? But we all did it so fast and all that, but it's not sustainable, is it? I think that's what we never knew when we were, like, a bit younger, and obviously people, like, in the 30s now.
And these are very new, these things, with social media and its, like, prevalence of being everywhere. You see these things and you almost trust these people who are influencers because they have, 1 million followers or 500,000 followers.
That's it,
And it's easy to get sort of sucked into that.
It's those people that you see on Instagram that have, like I've heard, I won't obviously mention any names, but I've heard about a few coaches that have got so many K followers. And, like, the before and afters, like, their after pictures of their clients are just like, I'll say, because I'm not saying who they are, but, like, they look malnourished. But then you hear stories of them literally putting them on, like, 800 calories and, like, just awful things. And then, like, that client who's got left to come out with those diets, like, it's just awful.
They'll crash then, don't they? And then
and your body can't, like, isn't healthy, it can't function. Like, trying to turn up to work without any fuel in your body, like, I can't skip a meal. I wake up and I'm like, I need breakfast, I need this.
So, like, going from that, you've obviously mentioned briefly there about your experience with things like that, like the meal replacement and stuff. And what I think's, not blowing smoke at your ass, but what I think's really good about what you do in your page is it is super transparent, and there's this, you have this ethos of, like, being real and, like, having, like you say, everyday life, whole foods, eating well, but eating, not doing that,
and not complicated.
Not complicated, and keeping it, to the point. Does that come from them experiences that you've had with sort of doing maybe the opposite?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, like, because obviously you've tried and failed everything, and it, like, that doesn't work. So I think, and also, like, just from starting out, like, doing CrossFit and that, like, obviously I didn't have a clue about protein and, like, eating well. Like, I used to strive, like, every girl, like, try to be as skinny as I could be. Like, when I was running, I look back at pictures now and I've just got no muscle tone. Like, I am just stick thin. Probably didn't feel enough for the runs anyway. So, like, from that, like, you start wanting to get a bit of shape. So, right, okay, well, I've learned from that, I need to fuel more. And then also, like, going through my career as a PT and coaching, working with different people, like I work at Lift and Glow in my goal at the moment. And Hayley Bella owns that. Like, she's unreal. Like, she helps us loads. But I feel like she's given us loads of nuggets of information because she's been in the industry now for, like, 6 years. So she's helped us loads. And I think from personal experience, but also learning off other coaches and stuff is really important as well. And, like, surrounding yourself with other like-minded people and knowledgeable people as well. And also doing courses and that as well.
And I think the gyms are changing. I remember when I first started going to the gym when I was younger, it was sort of all based around, like, your classic commercial gyms or your weightlifting gyms. But now you've got things like, one of yours is like a group training gym.
Lift and Glow. That's really nice.
And then you've got Unity, where we go, Alia, where we used to go. These are all in a pro bike. They're all, like, group based, aren't they? And I just find that when you have that community, and that
it helps so much.
It's almost a support group because you feel accountable to them people. And I found when I was doing weightlifting and I was training on my own, despite loving weightlifting, it was so hard to get motivated for that.
Because no one's waiting for you. Like, even this morning, I've just been to that Pilates class, and one of my clients put me onto it. And it's like Tuesday's my one, like, mini lion day of the week where I can get up at, like, 6:30. Because of High Rocks on Sunday, I woke up this morning and I was like, oh my God, I'm really tired. But because Megan booked it, I went. If I booked it on my own, I might not have gone. So it's always having that accountability as well, isn't it? And, like, even coaches, like, we struggle getting up and we struggle with motivation, but you can't rely on motivation, can you? You need to get going.
So when you do, you mentioned it earlier on with, you give some examples of people struggling with like work-life balance, and you alluded to some jobs that you mentioned some jobs. Are they ones that you see frequently with your work? Like, is there a common thing that you see when people are like, I need your help? Where do I start?
I think quite a lot of, because obviously a lot of us work from home now. I think that makes a lot of people more idle, doesn't it? Because like you're at your laptop all day, and even like working in the corporate industry and like working in offices and stuff. So I feel like like they'll always say, "Oh, I'm struggling to get my steps in," or like a common theme is always like snacks and stuff in the office and things like that. But I also work with like quite a lot of mums, so I also do my mum club. But then like I've got a few people with like toddlers and that who are my online clients as well, and they struggle with like prioritizing their own meal times, and they'll just eat the kids' leftovers instead of actually making themselves a proper meal. And like those people say, well, I've got kids, I haven't got time to cook, and it's like, well, just get no cook stuff, like get oven things. Like there's nothing wrong with an oven ready meal, or ready to throw in chicken fillets that marinate from the butchers, or like I don't know, microwave pack of rice, like all stuff like this. It's all making it convenient for you. But I'd say, and like shift workers, but I feel like I could like at Lift and Glow, we have Hayley gives us our own clients, and Hayley will always give me either the mums, or even not mum myself, obviously I've got a lot of experience with it, or shift workers, because I feel like I can relate to that a lot about, because obviously shift workers, like your body's completely thrown off, like you don't want to eat breakfast at 5 a.m. If you're on nights, you don't want to, like, you feel like not eating when you get in, but I just always say try and keep it as consistent as you can, and like as normal routine as possible. But I feel like everyone struggles in their own little ways, really.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anything worth having usually isn't easy.
No.
And I think looking after yourself and training to do a certain thing or look a certain way is always going to have difficulty. But it's funny because I think the gym and training is one of the few things where we accept failure. Like we go to the gym and we're like, we'll go for do a deadlift, and we're like, not even get it a millimeter.
Yeah, just absolutely not me under the rig. I just stare at the rig. I can't pull up today. Yeah.
And you'll walk away, you might have a little strap like that. And then you walk away and you're like, all right, well, next time I'll just keep going back.
Yeah.
But it's funny because if you was to do that with anything else, most people would be like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, literally, I say to all of my clients, probably hear me say it on my Instagram, like, pressing the fuck it button. Like, so many people just go, fuck it. And that's why those people give up. Like, they'll eat healthy for a week, and then they'll have a Mackey's with the kids on a Sunday, and they go, oh, fuck it, now, like, give up. And it's like that instant, like, no one has that resilience that you need to build up. And like, I think one thing I teach all of my clients is you can go out a weekend and you can have a pizza and an apple at Rudy's, or I don't know, you can go to, I don't think of it, like Bella Italian or pasta, whatever. That doesn't mean you've fucked it. You can go out for a roast dinner with your family and have a fucking sticky toffee pudding afterwards in a gym. Doesn't mean that you've undone all your hard work. I think loads of people think you can undo hard work by like one little thing, and that's when people just fall off the, I don't like saying the word wagon, but just go off track.
It's like Armageddon, isn't it? Like the catalyst of just pure destruction. Why do you think that is? Is there any like common themes that people go, oh, I feel like this because, do you think, from what I've seen, it's normal like social media, people.
Yeah, it is social media. And also like things, like obviously I know it works for some people, but things like Slimming World and like
I hate
and like stepping on a scale in front of everyone once a week. And then if you've lost a couple of pounds that week, you're fucking woo. But then if you've put on 2 pounds, you get like shoved off the scales and shoved in the corner. Yeah. But like, I think I've had quite a few clients who have done that in the past, and they'll literally say to me in the consultation forms, like, I feel like I've done things like Slimming Wells and things like that in the past. Like literally someone who joined me this week, but it set me in really bad food habits. And I feel like since I left Slimming World, or I don't know if it was Slimming World Week, which is one of them, she said, I've just put on loads of weight since I've left it, and I can't go back to where I even began. I feel like I'm not saying it is for everyone and it works for people, I get it, but
it does,
I think, like doing things like that and being like shouted at for gaining a pound, like that's why so many people fixate with the scales these days as well, and just go, oh, fuck it, like I put on a pound, but you might just need a poo. You might just be really sore from the gym. You might have, if you've had a big bowl of pasta on, like, what I do get is when my clients say to me, oh, I weighed myself on Sunday morning, I put on this. And I'm like, well, what did you do on Saturday? Oh, I went out for tea and had a few drinks with the girls. Well, don't weigh yourself because you're going to be holding more water. But that's one thing that I teach like clients about is like, don't fixate on the scales, because I don't really anymore. Like if like before Mexico, I was cutting a little bit, so I weighed myself then. But like last weekend, I weighed in 2 kilos lighter than I was this weekend, and the old me would have gone like, oh, I'm like, I'm eating Special K 3 meals a day, but I'm like, oh well, like it's fine. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's something that a lot of people need to learn that as well.
I think when measurements got introduced to me,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's such
So
a
much
better way.
Yeah.
Because it's gradual, progressive. You're not doing it every day. People get so obsessed
Yeah.
with scales, and you're like, they have the place, but society just made them like
also
the
like
all and end all.
going off, like I've got clients that have literally like gone down 2 jean sizes and not necessarily lost that much on the scales. Like me myself now, like I can change shape from the gym depending on what I train, but my weight always stays the same. Like I'm tall, I'm broader than a lot of people. I used to feel like, oh my god, I'm so fucking heavy compared to X, Y, and Z in the gym, but I am tall and broader, so I'm always going to be weighing heavier. And I think that's what people compare themselves to, seeing posts on Instagram like, this is what I eat as a 60 kilo female and a blah blah blah, and then someone who's 70 kilos feels like shit. But it's genetics as well, isn't it, and all that kind of stuff.
How was that, like, obviously being taller as like a girl? Was that, do you reckon that, like, you know, when you was running a lot and stuff and you was going for that more?
Yeah, I mean, in school I hated PE. Like I hated everything. Like I didn't really have much. I was confident because like I chatted shit to everyone, man, my head was in the clouds, but I never really had good self-confidence in the way I look, if that makes sense. I hated being tall. Like my best mate Layla, when we were little, she was literally up here on me, so I used to like slump loads and try and get smaller. And like I never felt good about myself until I really started going to the gym. Like and I feel like I was, you always compare yourself to your friends and stuff, don't you? Especially when you're younger. I mean, even now we all do it, don't we? Male and female. But I feel like just since I've sort of focused on myself and enhanced my life with all your habits and training and stuff like you do, it just makes you feel so much better self-confidence wise as well. And that's what a lot of my clients say as well. Like someone checked in at the weekend and was like, oh my god, I went out in a jeans for the pair of jeans for the first time in ages and felt the most confident I felt in like a year. And that's I care about that more as a coach than losing 5 kilo on the scales. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you've got your mum club, which is,
I love that. Got that this morning.
Yeah. So is that difficult to navigate going into that confidence thing and sort of self-esteem what we talked about there? Obviously, I don't know. Never had a baby.
With like working with mums.
Yeah, but like I imagine that could be something that is quite prolific in them sort of.
Yeah, I feel like the way I coach the Strong Mum Club, like obviously a lot of the mums don't, obviously they've got the option to, but a lot of the mums don't want to come in and use my fitness pal because 9 times out of 10, the mums actually aren't eating enough. And like they're having 1 meal a day and things like that. So I feel like you coach the mums differently to how you would someone like me. So do you know what I mean? I feel like it is slightly different and you've got to work on like, I don't know, because it's all the same factors, like your habits, your steps and everything like that, but you do have to just go about it in slightly different ways. Obviously a mum with a newborn, life is a lot more chaotic than someone like mine or yours. So it's really interesting. I like it. Like I did my pre and postnatal training qualification, and then I still like, I love the babies and things like that. And I think like I wanted to still do something kind of like, I know it's not midwifery related, but I feel like when people hear I'm a midwife, it gives them a bit more trust in me. Like, oh, she does kind of know a bit more what she's doing. So I said to Haley, I was like, I really want to start up this mum club thing. I've got this idea. What do you reckon? And then we just literally took off, and I'm on my like 5th intake now of it, I think. And I've been oversubscribed, or like this time I've actually got 2 spaces left on this intake. But like it's always been full. I've never just had 1 or 2 people on it, and it's amazing. And like those people have messaged me going, oh my god, I wish this was around when I had kids and stuff. So I really like it.
Gratifying.
Yeah. It's just so cute. I love it. I just spent like the hour like cuddling 2 babies.
Just like telling them what they're doing. So you've covered a lot of the things you've done. Do very busy. I've seen your calendar because you put it on Instagram, and it blew my mind. So like,
color coordination.
What are sort of the tools in place that you have to navigate that? Because we briefly talked about it before. We came on. Was, you know, there's people with less time who sort of everyone's excuses that I don't have time. You are someone who has very finite
blocks.
Time. So what is it you have in place? Obviously calendar's one, but
Google Calendar. Hayley Bell introduced me to that, and then actually Liv Bailey got me onto it as well in the end. Like, and she was like, me onto it, it's so good, honestly. And it's so like appealing to the eye when you see a week. And it's just good, like even for like your social things, like going for a coffee, like I'll put that in, or like your training sessions, like literally down to even like if like mums are busy or families are busy, like putting in your bloody Aldi shop in it so you remember where you're going, like everything. So I think having a plan in place, because if you haven't got a plan, you're not going to go to plan, do you know what I mean? Like, or you'll get to the end of the day and go, oh fuck, I didn't go to the gym, or I didn't go to that food shop or whatever.
prepare to
Literally, yeah. And like, if you don't plan to get up at 5, like no one wants to get up at 5, but if your only time to go to the gym that day is at 6 a.m. in the morning, if you haven't planned to go and set your alarm, then you're not going to get it done, are you?
Yeah.
I think obviously like people say, I'm going to get 3 workouts in this week. I've had it with loads of clients and the check-in form is like, oh, I only got 1 workout in. And I'm like, well, did you plan at the beginning of the week when you were going to get them in? No, I was just going to see how I felt. And also like, I always say like, try and get your workouts done early in the morning if you can, because come the end of the day, the motivation to do it isn't always there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I used to be like a 5:30, 6 o'clock person after school, but if you can get early, get it done early. I think as well, like prioritising, I try and get an outdoor walk in every day, even if it's like 20 minutes, half an hour. And like 9 times out of 10, like I'll be dead tired in the afternoon. Like I'm not someone who naps. Loads of PTs are up at 5 and stuff nap. And I work most days 5 till 8 with a little gap in the afternoon. But then even that gap, I feel like my boyfriend's always like, oh, you've had loads of time at home today. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm doing check-ins. Like I'm doing, I think actually when we were in Mexico and I was still doing check-ins on the sunbed next to him, he realised, oh, that does take you quite a while, doesn't it? Like, because I think loads of people think PT is just work the morning and evening and go home. Because I think like getting that outdoor time and just refreshing your brain and everything, like I always say to my clients, like, if you get in at 6, just go out for 20 minutes on your own if you can. Like leave the kids with your husband, whatever, or if you're on your own, just go out and like, even no headphones and just time with your own thoughts, I think is important as well. And bedtime routine. I mean, I probably don't get enough sleep, but I definitely sleep more than what I used to. And I feel so much better for it. I think prioritising sleep is a massive thing. So like trying to be in bed by like 10 because I'm always up at 5.
How do you find sleeping? Because just knowing you for like the time knowing you, I think we're quite similar in the fact that we're quite energetic
ADHD.
people. Yeah. For lack of a better term, but how do you find sleeping? Like, it's for me, it's fucking. As soon as there's silence and I'm in my,
you're like,
it's like get off. How long can we stay awake for tonight?
I always find like I'm literally like say I've been working until 7 or 8 at night. I'm like falling asleep with my last client. Obviously, don't let them know that. And then I get home, I have tea on the sofa with Pete, like chat, and then I get into bed and I'm like
wide awake.
Literally, but you've been yawning all day, and no coffee will stop that yawning. Oh, it's so annoying. To be fair, I am quite lucky. Once I'm asleep, I am quite a good sleeper. But sometimes it'll take me an hour or more to get to sleep. That's why I enjoy having the Whoop now, because I just try to sleep. And fucking hell, it tells me to go to bed like 7:30 every night to get my, what's the word, like clear my sleep debt. And I'm like, that's not going to happen.
No.
But it is pretty interesting. Like I think having a sleep track is good as well.
I had a Whoop for a while. I've got my Polar now, and that was it. But it's not obviously as in depth in that. But it's scary as well what impacts your sleep, what that picks up, and then you like learn shit.
Like my recovery, yesterday after doing High Rocks on Sunday was like 30%, which is the lowest it's been for me. But the old me would have gone and trained yesterday and pushed myself loads and all that. Whereas like yesterday, I literally worked like normal hours all day. But then I didn't even actually get a walk in yesterday because when I had that hour gap, I was like on the sofa with my iPad doing a bit of work and just. I think it's important knowing like how far to push yourself and not.
Give you the insight to sort of recover. People sort of again think it's a bit wanky for work, like fitness wearables, but if you're someone like yourself who is obviously at the upper limits of like using your energy and doing that, it is good to have that. Have you never hit the 1% club yet?
No.
I have.
Not yet.
3 times.
Is it not like after a big night out and stuff though? Yeah. My friend did it on Saturday morning. He sent me a screenshot. I was like, I've never seen that in my life. But you've been out till like 1 o'clock. But yeah. Honestly,
like sometimes I think I got in at like 11 and
it was 1%
for like 3 or 4 hours, and I didn't even drink that much. But like,
it's also like your heart rate and everything, isn't it? It's mad.
And it tells you you're getting sick.
Yeah. Your HRV.
Sometimes I'm like, when I had it, I was like, it's telling me I'm getting sick. I mean,
I've got a fever. I've got a chesty cough.
I'm sick. No one would have told me.
Yeah, you don't realise. Or like when recovery's low, I'm like, oh yeah, my muscles are a bit sore, but otherwise we've just cracked on. But I think it's important because I think we've all been there. Like I used to massively overtrain, so I think I've definitely learned to rest a bit more now as well. That's something about keeping on track during the week, actually giving yourself rest time.
It's massive, isn't it?
And mindfulness. I mean, again, going back to ADHD, like I'll look forward to a weekend so much of like nothingness. Like on a Saturday, I tend to have 2 clients in the morning. I'll go Unity, and then if I've got a free afternoon, I'm like, oh yeah, but then I'm like, and then I'll fill it and I'll go meet my friend for a coffee. I'll go on a 2-hour walk. And before I know it, it's tea time. I'm like, oh, fuck, that chill day's gone. But it's still nice just to fill up your cup. Like, I know, like, Mel always says to me, like, you never just sit on the sofa, do you? And I'm like, no. But it's filling up your cup in your own way, isn't it? What you find good for yourself.
I imagine that doesn't sort of fulfill you sitting down. And,
no. I don't know, like, loads of people say, what are you watching on TV? I'm like, I don't. I watch Friends and Big Bang Theory on repeat because I can't actually concentrate on anything. I don't want, like,
I find it a massive commitment to start something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got to, like, be invested. I've started so many series and not finished them. Yeah. But I tend to like the short, like, ITV BBC dramas that are like 6 episodes. Yeah. Or like that recent one on Netflix, Nobody Wants This.
Yeah.
Like an American one. Like something you can just take your brain out and watch.
Yeah.
I don't like intense things.
Yeah. See, like, I can't watch reality TV or anything like that.
No, or Selling Sunset, Below Deck.
Nick loves it.
I have never watched Love Island in my life, and people think I'm fucking weird for it. And I'm like, no, never watched it.
I've watched it a couple of times.
I'm a celebrity.
By proxy with Nick. And, like,
Yeah.
the thing though, it's so easy to get
hooked into it.
Yeah, and it's shit. It's absolutely fucking shit.
Also, I find like I watch stuff like, because our friends, we've got our friends who are another couple and they love that shit. So like we always watch it with them sometimes if we go to theirs for tea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they just make me feel like shit. Like they've got loads of money. The house is fucking massive. Like I don't want to watch that. Like I don't think it gives me
reading my book.
Like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, who's having an affair with who?
Yeah, I'm like reading my book and I'm like, I'm like, fucking no, stop it.
Yeah.
It's just so easy.
I feel like when I was in school, like I think you same age as me.
Yeah, 28.
Yeah, so like I feel like Maze and Chelsea came out when we were in school, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like I used to so I never watched Towie, but I did watch Maze and Chelsea. But that was like last time I watched a reality TV show. Like no, just never, and I never finished it, you know what I mean? Like I never got to the end of the series.
Has it ever finished? Yeah. Is it
still going now?
Probably.
I don't even know.
There's definitely them things where it's like 10 years on.
Yeah.
So well, like we digress massively, but like
I
thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, so like going back to like sleep and things like that.
Oh yeah,
knowing,
I completely forgot.
we did know this one.
Yeah.
But like how, especially for like Windy Mum Club and stuff like that, how do you sort of help people navigate them sort of challenges of, because I imagine with baby and shit like that, sleep is probably something that they come to with as a struggle. Maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think with busy mums or just people in general who find it overwhelming, like starting anything new, like a health and fitness journey is scary, like whether it's health and fitness or not. So I think I always also like introduce small baby steps, like small habits, like small changes. So obviously I'm not going to say to a mum, why aren't you getting 8 hours sleep a night? Because I think I get 8 hours myself. But obviously with a mum, it's like just sleep as much as you can. And like I think a lot with mums, like obviously the baby tends to go down at 7. Yeah, they might wake up at like midnight again or whatever. But it's filling up their own cup as and when they can. So it's giving themselves a bedtime routine, you know, because quite a lot of mums will often put the child down and then they'll go downstairs, they'll binge watch a reality TV show, or they'll be scrolling on the phone, looking at Instagram and things like that. So I think I always say to them, like, take away that, like, don't look at a screen. Like, can you do 10 minutes of yoga? I mean, I'm not a yoga person myself, but people love it. You know, can you listen to a podcast?
Yeah.
Can you go and read a book instead? And I think it's like building those healthy habits around that bedtime routine as well, and helping them wind down a little bit more rather than focusing on sleep. But I think for the majority of like newborns, sleep is always going to be an issue. And I think I always just say, just show up as best as you can when you can. So, you know, because you're sleep deprived, don't eat fast food all day because that's going to make you feel even shitter. Like, you know, get your family to batch cook your meals, like have like ready meals in the fridge, have like ready cooked chicken, Greek yogurt, like, you know, all shit like that that's just good to go. Salad bowls, like all ready stuff, so you're not having to think about preparing a meal. It's just literally get a wrap, chicken on top, salad or whatever. I think like I don't put too much pressure on because it's just going to make me feel shit. Well, I'm not achieving that goal, so I may as well give up.
Yeah, and there's different ways of coaching people in that, and I think especially I bang on about it to lots of people who regularly listen to podcasts, like, please shut the fuck up. But like there's an unrealistic expectation that we should just be fucking grinding constantly and pushing our body to its absolute limits, breaking and continuing.
And I think there's
people that built that.
People who glamorise like getting up at 4 a.m. to do a workout before they start work at 6, and then they finish the long day at work and they go on a 10k run, like stuff like that, or like just making everything like Instagrammable, fancy picture perfect on your plate all the time, and like it's just that's not sustainable. Like you can't live like that. Like that's a normal human being. I think it's definitely important to look after yourselves more than grind yourself into the ground, because those people, like I've seen a lot of people who grind and, you know, up at 4, in bed at 11, done fucking 30,000 steps a day, weight train, whatever. But there's a time where they end up posting, oh fuck, I've got pneumonia, or oh shit, I've got, I don't know, but you know, they literally crash, they hit burnout and they have to have 2 weeks off work or whatever. Like I think it's important to realise that will happen.
I
It's
like
not.
that expression of like filling your cup. I think that's
Yeah,
really
I've got
good.
loads, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's true.
That's it's a good expression
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't do that. They do things for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Or I think a lot of people now as well, like we were saying about the greens and the meal placement diets and like reform. I actually do reformer Pilates once a week at the moment, but I think a lot of stuff is glamorized and people think, well, I've got to do that. Like people go and do CrossFit because they feel like they've got to do it, but they don't actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to enjoy what you're doing as well. Like don't eat food that you hate because you're not going to stick to it. You need to make your healthy food stuff that you enjoy, and make sure you're enjoying your journey, whatever your journeys are.
Well, you only get what? Well, not depending what you believe in, but like chances are you're going to get one crack at it. So
exactly. Yeah.
So, 2 questions I would ask people. Start with the first and segue nicely from what we've been talking about.
Okay.
If you could recommend 3 habits that you do to the everyday person, one of your clients, what would they be and why?
Do it have to be health and fitness related or anything?
It can be anything. No, it doesn't have to be. Just what
3 habits.
Habit or a habit that makes you happy.
Trying to think. Exercising, it sounds, but it doesn't have to be going to the gym. It can literally be an outdoor walk. Like, just get some form of exercise. Don't be a croissant all day, like at your desk like this or on the sofa, or do you know what I mean? Like,
I remember that when I was
just get outdoors, get moving, or like it could even be an at-home yoga or Pilates. But I think, I probably said 2 there, but I would actually say get outdoors as well. So exercise in some way, but also getting outdoors. Like these walking pads that everyone's got now, like I feel like they've got a place, but I think it makes you be lazy, and it like we're all insufficient by the word, in vitamin D. Like I think it just makes people like stay indoors more, but like get outside.
Teach the kids.
Yeah. And eating like regular meals. Because I know myself, if I skip a meal, you just feel like shit, like your energy shit, you're dipping low. Like if I skip lunch because I'm not hungry for lunch, come 4 o'clock, I feel like shit. And like if you're in work or, you're being a mum or whatever, like you can't function. Like I can't anyway. I've said 3, haven't I?
Yeah. But you know
I think I said loads.
You might be the first person to fly through 3.
Really?
Everyone struggles on the 3rd. Everyone's like 1, 2, and they're like, shit.
I thought I said more, but yeah.
Well, that's it. So this one might put you on the spot.
Oh god.
If there was one habit that you've done in the past and that you don't do anymore, or it can be a habit or a routine, or there's a habit or a routine that you wish you do and you want to reintroduce it, or you just want to do it, what would it be? Just pick one.
Not snoozing my alarm.
Not snoozing your alarm.
Do you know what, this morning?
You made me feel better because I'm a fucking snoozer.
Oh, I'm the worst. And this morning I literally had like an epiphany because I thought my Pilates was at 6:15. So I got up for a 6:15 class, giving me just enough time to get out, but I'm always rushing around in the morning. But my class actually started at 6:30.
Winner.
So I had 15 minutes longer. And just that 15 minutes, like I actually sat down and enjoyed my coffee rather than like swinging it back and like
throwing it on yourself.
Yeah, like I actually brushed my hair and put a bit of makeup on. But like, you just make yourself feel better than running around all the time. And as my toxic trait, getting up late. I'm always late. Like if I say, even if I go for lunch with my friends, I'm always late. I am. My clients, I'm never late for. But I'm like Hayley when I'm owns Lift and Glow. But I mean, like I'm on the dot for my clients, I'm not gonna lie. But they all know that. But like, if my gym group start, like I do 6 a.m. groups 3 times a week, I'm there at 6 a.m. 59 at the most. I'm never gonna be someone who gets there early. But like Hayley owns Lift and Glow, she's like, you give me anxiety, you're always late. I'm like, no, I'm on time. She's joking, but she's like, that's fucking late to me. But
my dad's like that. He's like, on time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I will cut it fine.
Like I'm that person who turns up at the train station as the train's coming in.
And you're like, what the fuck you all worrying about?
But like it is a toxic trait as well. If I have that extra time, like say I'm going out with the girls and I'm getting ready 2 hours before I go out, I'm still rushing. I'll still fanny about, I'll still sit and scroll on my phone, I'll still, I don't know, do stupid shit. So I'd say don't snooze your alarm and give yourself a bit of extra time than what you initially think you've got, so you're not stressed.
Well, thank you.
I'm proud of myself, came up with that quite quick.
That was really good. So, let people know where they can find you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, really enjoyed it. Thanks for letting me chat shit.
No, it was really good. Really insightful. I'm sure people will take a lot from it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you can find me on Instagram. Am I Sammy _PT_? I think. I don't even know what
in the description.
I don't know what my Instagram name is. But that's probably the best place to find me. But thank you so much. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry about the cleaner badge.
That was hilarious.